Hey everybody, Marcel Ernie Racy News. Ukraine attacks inside Russia again. It is May 26, 2023, Friday, reporting here. Ukraine is reportedly striking inside Russian borders again in at least 2 incidents. An office building in Krasnodar was hit by what the city claims are Ukrainian drone strikes. No one was killed. Russia says it shot down another Ukrainian missile over Rostov Region. President Zelensky claims that Russia struck a hospital early Friday, killing 1 person and injuring at least 15 others in the city of Dnipro. That city has been under Russian control since March of 2022. So why would Russia target a hospital in an area it has controlled for over a year? Russia has not responded. Local reports say it was a Ukrainian drone that struck the hospital. Eyewitnesses also posted videos showing separate drone attacks on a nearby cell phone tower company and residential building. Ukrainian President Zelensky said recently that Ukraine did not have the weapons to attack inside Russia and promised President Biden that his forces would not do that. So where is this equipment coming from? The U.S. State Department was asked about images showing American equipment being used in a recent attack on Belgorod. And as you guys remember, I showed you the photos of the Humvees and the U.S. military giant vehicle. I don't remember the name of it. The spokesperson said he was skeptical about that, about the U.S. military vehicles, the Humvee pictures in Belgorod. Well, maybe he should look into it, huh? So, meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal published a report about the recently lost Battle of Bakhmut. They confirmed what independent media, such as myself, has been saying all along. Ukraine is sending untrained men to die in this battle while refusing to attend peace talks. For a reminder, Ukraine is fighting to recapture an area that they have been torturing since 2014 coup with the U.S. puppet regime instigated by Victoria Nuland of the USA. This region asked Russia for help. They voted to become a part of Russia, and Ukraine is sacrificing untrained men to get it back. Peace talks would mean leaving the borders as is so the dying would stop. Peace talks now. Here is that Wall Street Journal posted on May 25th. Look at all the Ukrainian flags for this. Look at that. That's an amazing photo. Ukrainian cemetery. All these men dying for the Western G7 political control narrative. 36 hours into Bakhmut, 1 unit's desperate battle hold back the Russians. A group of 16 draftees lost 11 who were killed or captured. Whether it was worth the cost depends on a widely anticipated offensive. This offensive that never comes. So here in Ukraine, Private Oleksii Malkovitsky, an unemployed father of 3, fired a rocket-propelled grenade for the first time in his life on the front lines of the Battle of Bakhmut in February. Wow, what a statement. The guy's shooting a rocket for the first time. 0 training. Russian troops were assaulting one of the apartment blocks that his group of 16 draftees, many of whom had been enlisted days earlier and given no training, had been assigned to defend. Malkovitsky missed with his rocket. The Russians fired their own RPG and hit the wall beside him, leaving him concussed. He ran away from the building and hid in a vegetable patch, his ears buzzing. When he returned after sundown, the bodies of 2 of his comrades lay in the room. Over 36 hours he spent in brutal house-to-house combat in the eastern Ukrainian city. 11 of the 16 men from the Malkovitsky group of draftees were either killed or captured, according to surviving soldiers and relatives of the missing. Russia finally consolidated control over Bakhmut over the weekend after a 10-month battle that Kyiv used to grind down Russian forces. While neither side has disclosed its casualties, many thousands of soldiers on both sides have died on the Bakhmut front, according to the Western estimates. Many more have been injured. In an effort to preserve brigades trained and equipped by the West for a widely anticipated offensive, and with many of the professional soldiers dead, Kyiv sent in mobilized soldiers and territorial defense units, sometimes of patchy training and equipment. The ultimate success or failure of Kyiv's strategy, Ukraine's strategy in Bakhmut, will hinge on the results of the bigger offensive. This mystery offensive they've been talking about. Winter, spring, now it's too hot, before it was too muddy, before it was too cold. If you can avoid having to divert your decisive combat force towards something like Bakhmut, which would have a long-term negative impact on the overall counteroffensive, then you do it, said retired Lieutenant Gen Ben Hodges, a former commander of the U.S. Army in Europe. Of course, you still pay a high price. I'm going to just jump ahead, guys, because this is just a long story. Some of the men threatened to write an official refusal. They threatened to write an official refusal to follow the order, citing a lack of training. So, Yudin, an ex-convict from the eastern city of Luhansk, said he told the sergeant major he had never held a gun, let alone shot one, and was scared. And then he replies, the sergeant, I believe, Bakhmut will teach you, he said, the man replied. Okay, skipping ahead again here, guys. Ukrainian lawmakers in February introduced a bill mandating a minimum of 3 months preparation for mobilized troops, but it hasn't advanced through parliament. Wow. Ukraine Defense Ministry denied sending soldiers without training to Bakhmut, and an officer from the 93rd said he hadn't heard of such cases in his unit. If it happens, it's wrong, he said, a spokesperson for Ukraine Army Forces. Now I'm jumping ahead to the article about the State Department skeptical that U.S. weapons used in alleged Belgorod uprising. So the U.S. Get out of here, ad. U.S. is skeptical that American-provided military equipment to Ukraine was used in an outbreak of fighting in the Russian territory of Belgorod, the State Department said Tuesday, adding that Washington does not encourage or enable Ukraine to strike inside Russia. State Department Matthew Miller said the administration is skeptical at this time of the veracity of reports that U.S.-provided weapons to Ukraine were used in an apparent uprising by Russian opposing forces in the southern territory of Belgorod, which borders Ukraine. Oh, this is a good line. We don't have perfect clarity of the information. We're looking at the same fuzzy images on social media. At this time, we're skeptical of their veracity. And now jumping ahead to where they claimed that Russia attacked a hospital. And remember, we're kind of showing conflicting interests on that. So here you have a Zelensky with 2 Ys, UA, on Twitter. Another Russian missile attack, another crime against humanity as such. The buildings of the psychological clinic and a veterinary clinic in the city of Dnipro were destroyed. As of now, 1 person was killed and 15 wounded. The shelling aftermath is being eliminated and the victims are being rescued. All necessary services are involved. Only an evil state can fight against clinics. There can be no military purpose in this. It is pure Russian terror. Russia has chosen the path of evil and its own will, and it will not abandon this path by itself. We must defend terror, and we will do it, Ukraine and the entire free world together. Thank you to everyone. Now, remember what I just said is like, what I just said was that the city that the Zelensky claims that struck a hospital, that is in Dnipro, the city has been under Russian control since March of 2022. It's been over March, April, May, 14 months in control. So, well, you can think about what you want about that. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Just throwing you some information. Just read it as it is. Ernie Racing News.